Hello there, my friend. It's good to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Well, today I've got my canvas turned right side up. I've got it painted white, covered with a very thin layer of white. It's all wet and ready to go. And on my palette, of course, I've got my usual colors. I've got my cadmium yellow pale right here, cadmium scarlet or cadmium red light right here, titanium white right there. It's getting a little oily on the side there, so be sure you clean that up if it happens to your paint. You want a paint that is pretty firm when you're doing this type of painting, but occasionally oil does separate from the paint. It's just something that happens with oil paints. And then I've got ultramarine over here, alizarin crimson right here, and phthalo green right there. And we're going to have some fun today, I think. This one's going to be really colorful because I've got all my favorite colors out today. Well, let's get out our usual brush here, the 2-inch brush. When I use a brush like this, I like to use natural hairs because the hairs on a synthetic brush tend to separate more. But on a natural hair brush like this, they don't separate anywhere near as much. So a flat brush with natural hairs is really what I prefer. You can still do this with synthetic hairs, but I noticed that the results don't turn out nearly as good. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn out a little bit of our ultramarine here. We're going to start off with a sky that's going to take up about half the page there, or half the canvas, half the page, right? Okay, get a little touch of alizarin crimson in there, just a little touch, the smallest touch. I've got a little bit of that phthalo green oil dripping down. And again, if that happens, just go ahead, wipe it off a little bit. Don't let it ruin your day. It's all good. Ooh, I got a little bit of white on the canvas too. Or not my canvas, but my palette. Boy, I'm misnaming everything today, aren't I? Oh well. Yep. If you happen to get a little mess on there, just clean it up. Don't let it ruin your day. It'll be fine. God, cadmium yellow is always the drippiest color. I don't know why that is, but I always have so much separation with it. Anyway, I think I've got enough paint on here right now. Let's go ahead and start right up here. We always start at the top of the canvas when we start painting skies like this, and we use crisscross strokes. Crisscross strokes. They get a very light, hazy effect, and we come in from either side. And as you go down, it'll get much lighter. It'll get much lighter as you go down. There. And that's looking pretty light, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I sure do say so. Well, let's get a little bit more of that blue and a little bit more of that alizarin crimson. Oh, I love that alizarin crimson. I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have alizarin crimson. It's one of those colors that just feels like an old friend, a good friend that you've gone on a lot of adventures with, and boy, if they disappeared from your life, you'd be a little lost. That's the way I feel. When you work with certain tools for a long time, I'm sure even a lot of you guys out there, maybe you, work a job where you use some type of tool where you feel very accustomed to it. Oop, want a little bit more of that ultramarine in there. Don't want to get too much alizarin crimson. This is going to be a violet sky, or a bluish violet sky, not a reddish sky. Don't want to overdo it. But I'm sure you guys have, gone out with some tools, and maybe your job has you using something where it feels like second nature to use it. And if you lost it, you wouldn't know what to do without it. Well, that's the way I feel about alizarin crimson. That's the way I feel about ultramarine too. Alright. We're not gonna get too crazy with the sky, I don't think. Well, we might get a little crazy, but not too crazy. I want to focus on getting that ultramarine up there. And I think that I've got something that's going to work for me. Yeah. Now, wherever you brushed, you don't have to put clouds in here. You don't have to put clouds in here. But if you do want to put clouds in here, I'll show you how to do that in a second. Man, I'm having another drip from that cadmium yellow. See? That's the way you do it. You just wipe it up. Alright, let's clean off the brush because we're going to need this brush again very soon. Okay? Now, When I clean off my brush, I use odorless turpentine. I do not use pure gum turpentine, which is a traditional medium. Because pure gum turpentine is very hazardous. It's not good for you to inhale, and it's very flammable. Pure gum turpentine has, or genuine turpentine, has a flash point of about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Whereas odorless turpentine has a flash point of anywhere from 140 degrees to about 210. So, I really like to use my odorless turpentine, especially the light ones. The higher the flash point, really, the better. And some of them you don't have to ventilate, technically, but I always recommend that you ventilate whenever you use turpentine. Okay, let's beat it on the side. Get both sides there. Get the palette out of the way. Now we'll just give it a little beat down. Beat it off. There. And now, well, don't forget to give it the old wipe down. That brush was pretty clean by the time I was done with it, but, you know, always helps. After you're done using your turpentine, you want to be sure to cover it up because you don't want to be inhaling that for the entire time you're painting. I know that some of them you can leave it unventilated and all that, but I really would rather be safe than sorry. And I'm sure you would too. Anyway, let's make sure that I got my palette all cleaned off here of all the oils that are dripping off. Oh boy. It's one of the less glamorous sides of painting that they don't really tell you about in art school. Oh, by the way, your paints are going to drip all the time. That's fun. Anyway, let's take the fan brush here, pull out a little bit of white. Just run it through there. Get both sides nice and thick with paint. Then we're gonna make up a few things like, let the brush dance over here. Yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and let the brush dance over here too. And maybe, you know, you got another cloud right over here. Well, before we actually go ahead and do that, let's take our 2-inch brush and with the edge of it, we're just gonna, actually let me get the top part because that usually blends things out a little better. Alright? Just gonna blend out the bottom and then give it a little haze at the top. And then with just a very light touch, you know, you can go over it, and then, you know, you do the same thing over here, and then give it a little fluff, you know, right, just like that. That's cool. All right, and now back with the fan brush, get more paint on there, and you can, you know, just add all kinds of layers and stuff. Maybe we got a big guy happening over here, just like this. Who knows? We'll cover up with a little bit thicker paint right there, yeah. And maybe he's just dancing over this way. Maybe he's got a little bit of a stream thing going right over here, yeah. Now we're gonna have a pretty big tree over here, so we're not gonna do a lot in this area. But I'm just gonna show you a few things that you can do. And then of course you wanna take this with the very edge of your brush and give it the lightest tap, and then fluff it out, fluff it out, fluff it out, and then there. Now let's just do something right over here. Like we'll say there's a big monster of a cloud that's just shooting up, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Alright, so you got that big cloud, and, you know, really push the paint in there too. Helps to push the paint, and if you got the thick paint going, you know, you can make some wild things happen. Alright, so it's just maybe right in here, yeah. Don't overdo it, don't overdo it. That's probably about good for the clouds for today. I don't think I want to do any more than that. Do I? Oh, what the heck. We'll, actually, let me get my brush. I'm getting ahead of myself. I get too excited when I start making clouds like this, and I have a tendency to overdo it, but just take the very tip of your brush, the top tip, like that, and then just, you know, swirl it around and fluff it every which way. Fluff, 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 fluff. Whoosh. There. It's all good. And now we'll just go one more time here and just do some with the corner of your brush as always. There. Maybe you got something going down near the edge over here, where all the trees meet the sky and all that business. You know how it is with clouds. So free, so careless about what they're doing in the sky. And this is probably about good. We don't have to overdo it anymore. Let's just haze it out at the bottom and then give it a fluff here. Okay, and now we'll just very lightly, after we fluff it, there. You take the brush from side to side, but you are very gentle. Do not push your brush right up against this, or else you're going to ruin what you did. There. That's pretty good. Okay, let's clean off our brushes right now because we're going to need them again. And we also have to get the oil off of this palette. Oh, that's something we're going to be doing a lot of today, I'm afraid. It's just one of those days. Alright, so first up we got a 2-inch brush. Okay, let me set my fan brush off to the side there. Give it a little bit of a break. It's been working hard. Can't believe it just made all those clouds. You know, you can make clouds with any brush, really, as long as you use the corner of it. But I find it especially easy with fan brush, so just a little bit of an FYI there. And then let's get the wipe down after we beat it off. And that brush is ready for action once again. Now we gotta do the fan brush. Okay. Rub it against the grating at the bottom of your container until all the paint doesn't come off anymore. Okay? Now, this is a little brush, so it's not going to be much of a beat off. We got a little bit. Actually, I forgot myself. I tap it before I beat it off. Okay? And now we give it the old wipe down. And it too is ready for action. When I use my turpentine to clean off my brushes, I keep my odorless turpentine in a 5-gallon bucket with a grating at the bottom of it. I recommend using metal for your grating at the bottom, but you know, sometimes you use what you have. Right now I've got a plastic grating in there, and you have to be careful what plastic you use with odorless turpentine, because odorless turpentine can cause some plastics to warp. So if it's not a industrial grade plastic that's meant to be used with solvents like that, there's a good chance it'll melt. With the small palette knife, take a little bit of phthalo green. Okay? There. Just a small amount. It doesn't have to be a lot. Then I'm going to take a small amount of that ultramarine blue, because we need something that's going to be kind of a turquoise color, right? Actually, I'm going to get a little bit more of that. Yeah, that's going to be a nice color. Ooh, this is going to be just shimmering. I've got a good feeling about this one. A really good feeling. Okay, let's get some white just to punch this up a little bit. Oof. Oof. That is bright, isn't it? Mm-hmm. A little bit. Yeah, that's about the right color, I think. Now, don't be afraid of bright colors like this. Bright colors will really punch up a painting. And don't overmix. I have a tendency to overmix things. We'll just cut across right now with that knife, get a little roll of paint on the edge of that palette knife. Now what we'll do is we'll kind of just scope out the area. We'll decide where we want this to be, because right now I've got a feeling like I want this to be right here. Okay? And then I'm just gonna, I'm gonna grab another roll of paint, and I'm gonna come over this way and really force that paint into the canvas. Okay? what we got here are some hills in the background that are, you know, kind of getting all obscured by the atmosphere and all that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now that I have that, we don't have to do a lot with that. We just have to do a little something. Okay. Now I'm going to just get rid of that. And I'll clean off my knife. Deciding what I want to do right here, right now. And I think that, you know, cleaning off the knife is probably a good idea. Now that I've done that with my knife, I want to get out a little brush, because what's going to happen here, we're gonna take this, pull this, and just give it a little pull of encouragement. All right. Then and we'll mist it up at the bottom. And that way it's going to give us a little bit more leeway as to what we're going to do next. Okay? There. Don't be afraid to, like, there. That's looking good, that's looking good. All right. Now, what we can do is just take a little bit more of that. And maybe over here we'll give it a little bit more of a shadowy feel. Over here we'll give this a little bit more of a shadowy feel. There. Over there too. Maybe in here. Wherever. Yeah. That's looking pretty decent. Alright, cool. That's fine. Let's clean up this brush now. Give it the old wipe down. It's invigorating. I didn't get all the paint off of that palette knife. That's too bad. Okay. Boy, I kind of cut a piece of paper towel off that roll. That's always fun. Now, let's take some of that color that we were using up in the sky, and let's just throw it down here. I'm going to get a little bit of the there. Maybe that's a little dark. Maybe that's a little dark. But it's okay. It's okay. There. There. Alright. So we've got just a little bit of a hint of water going on there. And we're going to have some pretty instant reflections going on pretty soon here. Okay? I know I'm just kind of fastidious about the way that the water looks. Alright, that's good. That's good. We don't have to get too crazy with the water. But we do have to clean off this brush, because we're going to need it. Clean off, beat off. Okay. And then wipe it down. That's how we clean off our big brush. It's all ready to go. Okay. Now, we need to create some trees here. So let's take, the 1-inch brush, because I feel like this is going to be what we need here. And actually, let me get out my palette knife. I'm going to get out my big palette knife for this one, because we need to mix up a fair amount of paint here. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to mix up kind of a, I'm going to get some yellow in there. I'm going to get some yellow, okay? And then I'm going to take it over right in here. We could take some of that color that we already mixed up. Why not? We'll mix sort of a catch-all color here. Get some alizarin crimson too, because we want to get all the colors in this one. And get some, not alizarin crimson, but we're going to get some ultramarine blue, because we got to make pretty dark color. Pretty dark color. Alright. There we go. And maybe a little bit more. Ooh, that's too much alizarin crimson. That's too much. crazy with the alizarin crimson. I don't want to overdo it. That is not a good sign there. And I'm gonna get just a little bit more blue on this. There. Now the goal here is to get something pretty dark, something pretty blue, because you know how it is. There's a lot of blue in the shadows of everything. Maybe just a little bit more. We can always get more paint if we need to. Okay. Yeah, it's looking a little better. Here. There. That's finally looking pretty good, I think. Okay, we can run with this. Alright, don't overmix it. Just put the knife aside. I'm giving myself advice right now. Okay, let's take a brush and we're gonna just tap the paint into the bristles. Okay? Because what we're gonna do here is we're gonna tap the paint, this dark, right into what we painted here. Alright? And we want to go right about yonder there. Alright? And we're going to cover up a lot of stuff, and we're kind of just going every which way with it. We're not paying too much attention to what's really going on here. We're going to go all the way across until we reach, well, we're going to go right about here too. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay. See, we paint in layers, and that way, when we paint in layers, we have enough leeway to create all kinds of atmospheric effects and perspective tricks and all that. And I think I want this to end right about there. I'm probably overdoing it. I'm overdoing it. I'll bring it right up to the water here, and then we can, well, I'll go right into the water a little bit, I think. Yeah, okay. That works for me. Boy. Okay. That's looking okay. That's looking okay. Now let's go ahead and, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a clean brush. Hold on. I'm going to take a clean brush here. Let's see, where is it? There. That's pretty good. Okay, we'll take this and we'll create some automatic reflections down the water. You do that by just picking a spot where you think the water should break a little bit, where there should be some reflections, and you just pull them down. Okay? That's how you do it. And you run it across. Run it across. Okay? That's one way to do it. Now we're going to get some lights in there pretty soon. We're also going to get a little bit more of that teal color down the water. When you do layers like that, sometimes it's a little difficult to get that color down there. Let's clean off the 1-inch. Get all this dark green color off of it. And after we beat it off, give it the wipe down. It's ready to go. I'll clean off this brush too. Because the worst thing in painting is being without a brush. Beat it down. And give it the old wipe down. Well, beat it off and give it the old wipe down. Am I right? Yeah, I know. Alright. That's pretty good for right now. Now, I think what's going to come next is I'm going to get some of this green color, and I'm going to create a bright green color that goes in there. I'm going to need my 1-inch brush for this. So I'm going to take some of that cadmium yellow. Some of that cadmium yellow. And then I'm going to take some of this color with a little bit of blue, And I want a color that's pretty bright. I want more yellow in there. Yeah. That's about right. Maybe a little bit brighter. A little bit brighter than that even. There. I think that's gonna work nicely. Now let's go in here. And we'll just, tap the colors. Just like that. And, go down in the water too. And give those a little tap. And try to mirror what you're doing up above, Because you don't know. Well, you do know exactly how reflections are going to work, but you want it to look about right, okay? So, just right about there. That's looking pretty good. They don't have to be picture perfect. They don't have to be picture perfect. And don't overdo it. You got to leave some of that dark color in there so you don't lose everything. So go in here and, just turn the brush every which way and really push with the bottom of the brush so that it does that. All right, get a little bit more paint on here. And what you can do, turn it sideways even. You got a little bit of something going on there, right? Okay. And go over here. Go over here. Yeah. Yeah, that's looking pretty good, guys. It's looking pretty good. Again, don't destroy your darks. If you destroy your darks, you're going to lose the effect of all these little things happening in the background. Keep in mind, this is pretty far away, this area. So there's going to be a lot of things that are really hard to see. Yeah, that's good, that's good. We'll put some of that down in the water. There. All right. Now, I want to clean off this brush. So let's go ahead and do that. It really helps to get the paint off the brush when you rub it vigorously like that. You'd be surprised how fast the paint comes off when you do that in turpentine, or odorless turpentine. Okay. Get it on the side. Let's beat it off. Okay. And let's give it the old wipe down. Cool. Now this paint we still have on the palette knife. We gotta do a little something with this. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to salvage it. What I do when I salvage things is I kind of just slap them over here on the side. Okay? And this is what we call a mud area. What we do here is we take colors that we don't need anymore, colors that are all used up, colors that really don't need to do any more service. We just throw them over there because we can create all kinds of crazy new mixes with them. So that paint's still good. We don't have to throw it away or anything like that. Inevitably, you're going to throw some paint away because that's just how oil painting works. But you want to try to throw away as little as possible. Because, well, paint is expensive. That's the most obvious reason. You don't want to waste a lot of paint. But wasting a little paint is just part of the process. Not much you can do about it. Okay, that brush is pretty well set. Got things all cleaned up here. Let's take this brush here and pull these things down so we can create some reflections. There. 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 Okay. That's good. That's good. Off again. All right. Good deal. And let's wipe it down. Now, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some of this turquoise color that I still have, because I didn't get rid of all of it. And I'm going to throw a little bit of turquoise down there in the water. because it just seems right to have that reflection down there. So this paint here, this reflection here, ooh, I think I got a little bit of that turpentine that I, during the beat off on my palette. That's one reason you gotta be careful how you handle yourself when you're actually doing this. Now, if you're doing this in your house and you don't have a setup like mine, you probably want to be a little more subdued about how you clean off your brush. You don't have to do the beat off, but the beat off is faster for me. So, you know, use your own discretion on this one. It's just that your loved ones are probably gonna throw a big fit if you get the living room all alizarin crimson and whatnot. Anyway, let's take some of that. Take some of that turquoise right there, and we'll just throw it down in here. Throw it down here. There. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. That's good. Yeah, we can even kind of destroy some of the stuff we got going on there. And we'll just, well, you know, kind of encourage it in there. Not too much. Okay. There. Okay, that's pretty good. That's good enough. We've got a couple things in here that we need, so let's get out the liner brush for the small stuff. And let's open up our oldest turpentine, because we might need a little bit of that. Okay. And we want to dip into this green color that we got going right here. And right about right there, say there's going to be kind of some colors, some strange stuff going on. There's a guy with some land back there, maybe. Yeah, a little bit of that. Ooh, I'm getting my paint all mixed up here. Alright, let's just get a little bit more yellow in there. We'll pretend there's like some land over in here. Yeah, some land and stuff just kind of happening. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, and you know, whenever you need to punch up the color you're using, just use a little bit more of that yellow. And right over here, there's going to be a little bit, you know, something right there. There. Maybe we'll throw a little bit of this right there. Okay. That's looking good. Okay. Okay. Take a little bit of that turquoise color again. I don't know, maybe get kind of a wild looking color going in there. You know, you can mix and match your colors on your palette, especially when they're right next to each other, to achieve your desired effect. Maybe right down here you got something going. You never know. Maybe right down here. Yeah. I don't want to go too crazy here. But that is a little bit of a hint of land right in there. There. It's looking cool. Looking cool. Clean off that. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the liner brush. A little tiny beat off. And just, yeah, lightly take the paint off of there. Okay, let's go ahead and like even this off a little bit, because, you know, I want to create create a water line over here. Try to get this to look a little nicer. When you do that, just run your palette knife through the paint right there, and just like that. Yeah. Let's see, right there. There it goes. And if you made any mistakes, we can correct them right here with the water lines. Like maybe there's some stuff right there that wasn't looking completely straight. Maybe we need to give it a lakeectomy. Cut off some of that silliness that's happening there. Maybe you want a few more ripples going on in here. Go, use your imagination in this one. Maybe we want to throw something going on in here. Maybe we want, I don't know. Maybe you want more ripples. Really, you can do whatever you want with a painting like this. I think that's probably good enough. That's perfectly fine the way it is. Alright. We've got enough paint on there, I think. Let's take that paint off of that palette knife. This palette knife. All the tools today are seeing a lot of action, aren't they? A lot of times when we paint, it's usually a brush or palette knife or whatever. I'm going to paint the foreground now, and to do that I'm going to need I think, kind of a weird color. And I know what you're thinking, oh boy, he's going to put in a weird color. What is he going to do? Well, that's a good question. I'm fooling with you. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some of this alizarin crimson, some of this green, and I'm going to take a little bit of yellow. Because we got to get that yellow in there, you know? Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit more alizarin crimson, get kind of maybe a brownish color going here. Alright. There. That's good. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. I think we got ourselves a color. Don't overmix it. Don't overmix it. As soon as you think you got it, just stop. That's the best way to really go about this, okay? And get out the 2-inch brush, because we got a lot of ground to cover here, don't we? Yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover, and we're going to go to right about here. Yeah, right about there. Okay. Alright. Tap the paint into the brush, just like that. Get the paint into the bristles. That's good. Alright. Now right over here, and we want to, there, and then we'll tap the paint into the bristles again. And you want the bristles to bend up. You can actually bend them any which way you want, but I really like it when the bristles bend up like that. Okay? And you can change the land any way you really feel like. You don't have to do it the way I do it. Any which way is really good, really. Because we're just tapping in things here. Try not to destroy your darks here when you start painting the lights. It's okay to, get things a little wacky when you're painting the darks like this, because you're just kind of trying to cover some ground. You're not trying to make things look like the finished product. Okay, so we got that covered. All right, we got all that covered. Now what we're gonna do, we gotta clean this off, because we got some big things that are gonna happen pretty soon here. Okay, let's give it the old beat off. Alright, and the old wipe down. The old beat off, the old wipe down. You always think about how things are old. Maybe it's what I'm painting here. Where I'm painting this old lake. There, see, there it is. This old lake. Well, it is an old lake. It's a place I go to a lot. spend a lot of time down there. You know, life feels simpler, even though it's really not when you go there. But you like to think that maybe it could be simpler if you lived in a place like that. But you know how it is, guys. Life is never really all that easy, no matter where you live. Okay, let's get some of this color that we got here. And we're going to tap it into that bright green that we had earlier, except we're going to get some phthalo green on this one. Get some phthalo green on it, and don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to get your blue in there, too. The ultramarine blue? Why not? Why not? Come on, just a little bit, Ooh, I actually got a lot of phthalo green on that one. You have to be careful with phthalo green, because phthalo green is a very strong color. And it can do wonderful things for your painting, but it can also really overpower things very quickly. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to just tap things. And I like it when my bristles bend up like this. You can do it whichever way you want. And you know what I'm going to do? Get some more paint. And there. And now, when you look at it, when you see the highlight on top of that ground, it looks really interesting, doesn't it? Let's get a little bit of variation going there, and we'll throw something going right there. There. See, that doesn't look too bad, does it? In fact, we can go ahead and throw something more in right there. Okay, so we've got ourselves a handy little ground already. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? Yeah, that was pretty easy. And of course, you know what's coming now. We gotta clean off the brush. We gotta clean it off eventually. Might as well be now. Okay. Now let's beat it off. Alright. And give it the wipe down. Ye old wipe down. See? I changed up just to keep you on your toes, guys. Alright, we don't need to have this palette knife all covered in paint right now, so we might as well just, oops, didn't mean to get it on my thumb there. Wipe it on the palette knife, or wipe it on the palette knife. No, wipe your palette knife on the paper towel like that, and then take it off. This is all pretty basic stuff. You could probably figure this out without me telling you how to do it. You just wipe off the knife. That's really all there is to it. Don't have to think about it too hard. Okay, good deal. Now, we got the palette knife all set. What we got to do now is put a nice little thing in here. We're going to throw a boat in there. And I know what you're thinking right now. Oh, God, a boat? What do you mean we're going to throw a boat in there? Well, it's going to be upturned. So we're going to try to just pick out a nice place right here. And we're going to scratch out an area. Because we want to get all the paint that we can off of this. You don't want there to be a lot of paint while you're trying to do this. Okay? And right about there is where this boat is going to be. Okay. Let's get out the turquoise that we were playing with earlier, and we're going to use some more blue on this turquoise. You know? Yeah, we're going to use some more blue on this turquoise. Yeah. If you want, you can add the lightest touch of phthalo blue. Or not phthalo blue, but phthalo green. We don't have phthalo blue today. Phthalo blue isn't a color that I usually use. Okay. And we want this color to be kind of light. Alright. There it is. There. That's looking pretty good. That's better. Alright. Now let's take the smaller knife, cut off A little bit of that. And now we're just gonna kind of put some accents here. We're laying down the shadow area first of the boat. Alright? This is, yeah, this is an interesting way to make a boat, to say the very least. Okay, let's get some more of that color in there. You don't want it to be too thick. Don't make it too thick. If it's too thick, it's gonna be a little bit harder to work with. If you can, get as much paint as you can out of there so you don't have paint that's too thick. Okay? Alright. So we got that. Okay. Let's wipe off the knife. Alright. And now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of my white paint. Hold on. Just get a little bit of white paint on the knife there. And we're going to be pretty careful about which way we do things here. So, where do I want my paint to be? Ooh, right about there. You know what we can do is we can go over here and get just the lightest touch of alizarin in there. And that'll make for a pretty interesting accent. You can do that sometimes, just add a little bit of a color to your white. Make it look like it's a little bit more colorful. And, you know, it is. Actually, I've got too much paint there. You want to get a thin roll of paint on there. Okay. Well, that's already looking pretty good, I'd say. Now, let's go over this way. And you want to maybe use the thin edge of your paint knife. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of just draw the edge of the boat down to right around, whoops, right around there. Okay, that was a little messier than I intended it to be, but it'll do. Okay. What we're doing right now is we're just searching for those highlights. That's what we're doing. Searching for those highlights. Now right around the edge here, there is going to be that reddish white highlight. And it's going to be a little difficult to see against the water there. So we might have to get a little creative. Alright. And we'll just wipe off the excess paint right there. And we already have an area that's pretty dark right there, so let's take a little bit of white and throw it on the turquoise color that we already made, so we have something a little lighter to work with. Kind of a middle tone color, you know? Yeah, those middle tone colors are very valuable. And get it right on the edge of your knife, because what we're going to do is make this look a little bit more there, right in there, and get it right here too, ever so carefully. I know, I'm very careful. Come on, we got it, there it is. Alright. There. That's starting to look pretty cool. Alright. Now, we've got a lot of what we need in there. What I really want, though, what I really want on that boat is to get a few more details so that it kind of gives it a little bit more indication that it's a boat, you know? So we can take some of this brown color that we mixed up earlier with ooh, that's a lot of alizarin crimson, but you know what? Get some green in there and we can temper that color a little bit. Maybe even a little bit of that phthalo green. Because phthalo green and alizarin crimson, when you mix them together, you get a very dark color. It's very nice to work with. Okay, yeah, this burgundy color is going to fit the bill a lot nicer than what I was using. Okay, so let's cut across there. And right about here, just give it a little bit of an outline. Yeah, maybe up here too. Maybe up there too. There's no shame in having a little bit of an outline, you know? Alright, and here. Run your knife through the paint again and just give that a little bit of an encouragement right there. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty neat. Okay, let's get a little bit more red on this time. Put a little bit of oomph into that paint. Okay. And, well, what the heck, just a little bit more. Maybe we'll even get a little bit of the cadmium in there. Yeah, a little bit of the cadmium would work. Ooh, ooh, that's really livening it up. Ooh, ooh. Gotta be careful with that color. That color's a firecracker. Alright. So now what we gotta do is we gotta go over here. And right in here. There. Right in there is where there's gonna be that boat. Whoops. Yeah, I make mistakes sometimes too. Don't worry about that. There, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. And what we can do, I might regret this, but what we can do is take our brush and just give it a little bit of a encouragement here. Yeah, just the lightest touch. Because we don't want to ruin all this stuff. This stuff looks really nice. Okay. Alright, yeah, that's good. We don't want to fool with it anymore. Clean off that brush. Get the old bead off. Now, this brush is ready for action once more. And we have to clean off our palette knives too, because our palette knives are getting pretty dirty. Yeah, these palette knives are getting filthy. What do you say we just throw that over there? Right up with our mud color. Okay. And I'll tell you what we can do. We can take this and just throw a little bit of something over in here to create some contrast. There. Just to let everyone know, hey, there's something going on here. And it's interesting. Yeah. That should make the boat stand out a little bit more. Not too much, not too much. Actually, if we want to get real brave here, we can go ahead with a darker green and throw that in there. There. Now that's looking particularly brave, isn't it? A little bit, a little bit. Okay, I got another thing I want to do here. Oh, what do I want to do it with, though? I'm going to use my other palette knife for this. Okay, let's clean off the brush again, because we just got it dirty all over again. Oh, I clean off my brushes just to get them dirty all over again. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a purgatory. That's what painting is. Stuck in purgatory, doing the same thing again and again and again. And that's a dark idea of painting if I've ever heard one. I shouldn't say these things to myself. Painting is kind of like Zen, where you do it and a lot of the troubles of the world seem to just slip away. They don't really go away, but it's nice not to think about things for a little while, you know, because we all got some things we got to deal with. We all got bills to pay. We all got debts. We all got all kinds of stuff that we have to put ourselves through just to get ahead. And, you know, it can get a little much sometimes. Hey, we can take this color that we got here and just add a little bit of blue. With the other knife, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to scrape off a little bit of this right here. Okay? There. That way, we've got a little bit of that paint off the canvas. Remember, you want to try to paint as thinly as you can, because when the thick stuff goes down, you're probably not going to be able to paint over it all that well. So it helps to have really thin paint where you're going to do all your details and all that. Okay, we got this color right here. Let's cut across that really thin stuff right there, and yeah. I know what you guys gotta see. Palette knife action. Baby, baby. Okay, let's give it a little bit of encouragement there. Okay. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw a little bit of this color right in there. Just to give it a little bit of hint. Unify things a little bit, you know? Yeah. We'll throw it over here too. A little bit of an indication of some bushes and stuff. Alright, let's take some of that red and some of that bluish color that we created. And we don't have to get fancy or anything here. We're just going to create a post right about there. There. And that's about right. That's where it's going to go. Okay, there's the post right there. Let's create another little platform right here. Pretend that maybe, I don't know, someone's set down shop for today. And maybe, just maybe, they're going to go ahead and have themselves a little bit of lunch or something. There. We got that. Now we can take a little bit of white on there. Yeah, we don't need quite so much of that color. We can just throw this onto the mud section right now. There. That's good. Let's clean off this knife. That's how you do it, guys. Just wipe it on the paper towels and you're good to go. Now we got another little thing right here that I'm going to use my palette knife that I just cleaned off for. I just cleaned it off just to throw it right back to the wolves. Okay. There. Now, last thing I want to do is take some of that cadmium red light with the smallest touch. Here, I'm just going to put it right there. I want to take the smallest touch of that. Yeah, I'll take another small touch of that alizarin. And we're going to kind of just suggest a color right here. That looks like one of those red cups that you see everyone drink out of at parties and stuff. But maybe this guy wasn't partying. Maybe this guy just decided to have a drink and go down to the lake, you know? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe that's what he did. Who knows? It's his business. It's not really our business. Okay, we need to do something right here, so I'm gonna take a little bit of that color, the dark violet color, and throw it in with that red. Okay? And we'll just put it right on top of that. We'll say that it's going across. Because maybe these are two pieces that are kind of just stuck together. You know? There. That's pretty good. Now we wanna do a couple more things here before we go and put the final coup de grace on this. Ooh, what a coup de grace it will be. I'm feeling pretty good about it. This piece is turning out pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay, let's take the big palette knife out because we gotta scratch out a little bit down here. Okay, we're gonna scratch out actually quite a bit. We got a big tree that's gonna go right about to there. It's not really a tree, it's just a log. Alright, so we gotta scratch out. When you scratch out the paint, be sure you throw the paint onto that paper towel. I don't want to ruin everything that I have, but I do want to get it pretty close to the bottom here. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a color from all this, from that turquoise color that we were using. And it's going to be a little bit more violet. Alright? But it's also going to need a little bit more blue there, unlike what we just did. Alright, let's see if we got enough. Just a smidge of white there will be good. Okay, I don't want to go too crazy here, so let's get some of the color that we were shooting for here. Yeah, I'm shooting for a darker kind of violet-ish color. I don't want it to be too light, so I think this might work. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead, pull out roll paint. And just throw it down there, guys. Yeah. Throw that roll of paint down there. There it goes. Ooh, ooh. This Impressionist paint is fantastic. I gotta tell you, Impressionist painting is a lot easier than you think it would be, and painting directly like this, painting alla prima, is the easiest way to do something like this. It's the easiest way to get yourself into oil painting. Of course, if you want to do layers and stuff, you know, you can go ahead and do that. I mean, go nuts, guys. But I like painting directly like this because, well, you know, when you paint directly like this, your painting is generally going to last a lot longer because you're not painting in individual layers and stuff. The individual layers look nice, but they can cause the painting to have a little bit of a compromised paint film. Just something to chew on there. If you look at the old Impressionist paintings, you notice that a lot of them have lasted pretty well because they were pretty much, most of them, painted in one session. And Van Gogh's paintings are kind of the same way. You look at a lot of them, they've lasted pretty well. Now I'm going to add the disclaimer here that I don't know how well they've lasted, because for all I know, there's some art conservationists who are really doing God's work, keeping those paintings alive. And I suspect that's probably the case with a lot of oil paintings. Because oil painting, you know, it looks pretty. It looks so fresh and nice. And you get blends like you've never seen before. But also, it tends to be one of the least permanent mediums, unfortunately. Okay, let's go ahead, add some white to that violet that we created. Ooh, that's looking good already. Okay, don't overmix it. Cut across. Ooh, I got a big wad of paint on my palette knife there. There. That's what you want right there, guys, that roll of paint. Now, since this is a tree, well, it's not really a tree. What it is it's kind of just a post that fell down. Well, it is a tree, and it fell down. And now it's just kind of chilling there in the grass. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go all the way across here. And, you know, we're going to, since if you ever look at tree bark, you'll notice that it has a very uneven texture, but you know, it's got like these little lines going all across it, right? Yeah, it sure does. And as it gets, it's just like any other cylinder, really. As you get near the bottom, those ridges start to get darker and darker until they kind of just disappear. Just the way that we've done right here. See, this is looking pretty good, guys. Yeah, that's pretty nice. If this is the way you've done it, give yourself a pat on the back, because, ooh, it's a nice looking little tree trunk you got. Okay, that's crossing the whole way there. And what we can do now to really make this look really nice, we can take off our paper towel for one, and then we gotta wipe off. Wipe off that knife. Okay. Make sure your tools are clean. Okay. Ooh. You know, I don't have all that much paint in my hands this time around. Well, I'm gonna jinx myself now. I'm probably gonna get paint in my hands, paint in my shirt. Get paint every which way whenever I do this. Anyway, what we want to do is we want to take a little bit of the cadmium yellow here. Pull that down and get that, but also get some phthalo green there, because we gotta liven this up, don't we? Yeah, we do. Oh, I might have gotten too much phthalo green on there. Oh no. Nah, we'll be alright. So what we're going to do here is kind of just take out some of these, you know, harsh edges by making it look like there's some plants and stuff. You know, the grass is kind of just growing all over it. That's the way we're going to do it. Yeah, just like that. Now, doesn't that look nice? Okay. Now we can go back up in here, do the same thing. Cover up some of that stuff. You know what? We're going to cover up a lot of our mistakes doing this too. Which is probably the best part of all, you know? Okay. Alright, maybe go up in here. Yeah, why not? Okay. Yeah, looks good. Okay, we've got that pretty well covered. Now, what I want to do here is I want to clean off my brush, obviously. That's always the thing I want to do. Maybe we can go up in here, and with that dark color that we created, as soon as I'm done cleaning off the old brush here, okay, let's wipe it off. And we are golden. Okay guys, let's take our 2-inch brush and let's go into this color that's a little bit more reddish. Actually, I want to get a little bit more red in there, believe it or not. Yep. I want some more of that alizarin crimson to really punch things up here. Okay. And before I do that, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this color right here. Actually, yep. I'm just making sure I got things all laid out here. Let's cut across this blue color, this bluish violet color. Let's go right in here. There. And just go right there. Give us a little bit of a hint for some of the branches that are going to be sticking over the edge there. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, that's good enough. So we got those branches there, okay? Now we're gonna go back into that paint with the lots of alizarin crimson there. Tap that into the bristles. And now we are gonna paint something wild. We're gonna paint a big tree with a lot of leaves like this, okay? It's okay to go wherever you want. You can stick it down in there. You can go up in here. There. That's looking pretty nice. That's looking pretty nice. Maybe go in here. Outline a few things there. Maybe go back in. See if you can stick some more dark stuff in there. There. Maybe go down here. There. You know, you can go wherever you need to. There. See? Look at that. Okay. Now let's clean off this brush once more. Beat it off. Okay. And give the old wipe down. Alright, we got this wild tree in here, right? We got this wild tree. So let's go ahead with our yellow. And we've used a lot of yellow in this painting. Well, naturally so, because there's always a lot of green to paint. And let's get some blue. Maybe even some green in here. Yeah, let's get some green. I'm going to make things look pretty bright on this one. I don't want it to look too dark, so I'm not going to use any red. But I am going to use a fair amount of blue, I think. Okay. And then we'll get a little bit more yellow because it doesn't hurt to punch things up. You want your highlight to be a little brighter than you think it needs to be. That's generally a good rule, I think. You want your dark to be a little darker than you think it needs to be, and then your highlight to be a little brighter than it needs to be. And I think on this one I might even go get my 1-inch brush because I got a feeling. The 1-inch brush is really good for like bushes and little things like that. So yeah, just like that. And you know what? This is just the way we're going to do it right here. Look at that. Just tap the color, but don't ruin all the darks that you have, like right here. That's about good. I might even go back to my 2-inch brush just to see how this looks. Let's see how this looks. There. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. Alright, let's go up in here. Maybe give that a little encouragement. Yeah, I know that's what I call it, encouragement. Like I say, don't destroy all your darks. Okay? But do go ahead and turn the brush where you think there would be some highlights coming in. Okay, that looks pretty sweet right there. Alright, and maybe we got some stuff coming over here. Yeah, maybe we got that. And maybe we'll throw another one down there. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Alright. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, as long as we don't completely wreck it, we're alright. Okay. And yeah, I think that we've just about got ourselves a finished painting here. Let's take one more run through of the yellow. Maybe give a little bit of a punch right in a couple areas. There. Maybe right there. Right there. There. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Listen to me compliment myself, my work. Oh boy. There. Let's clean off the brush. Okay. Beat it off. Alright. Give it the old wipe down. Whew. Put a paint on those bristles. Okay. All right, let's clean off the other brush. Okay, and finally, we will clear off this last palette knife because we need a clean palette knife for the next time around. That's how we do it, guys. And now we can put the final touch on this painting. Now in a painting, you really want to sign your work. And I know sometimes I don't sign my work because of time and stuff. But right here, we're going to throw a signature in. S. K. There. And now, with that, let's clean that off. I know, we got to clean off the liner brush again. One last one. One for the road. How's that? Okay, and that was the less exciting cleaning part, I know. Alright. Well, my friend, I really hope you enjoy this one. I hope that you really liked seeing how we paint a picture like this. One that's a little unusual. One that's got this upturned boat and all the trees and the tree up above and the tree on the ground. I don't know, we had some very unusual compositional elements this time around. It's not very often we see a tree like this all the way from one side of the picture to the other and the boat over here, but the boat does create a fun little emphasis, doesn't it? It does. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this again, and if you give this a try for yourself, you know, be sure that you clean your brushes in between every use, and be sure that you don't kill your darks. Sometimes I'm worried that I'm going to kill my darks because I've killed my darks before, but as you can see, I kept my darks going. I didn't ruin them all, and for that I think the picture is a lot better than some of the efforts that I've done before, and I'm really happy with this piece. Anyway, my friend, I'll be back soon with another picture, and I really hope you enjoy this. I look forward to seeing you again. Until then, my friend, with love from me to you, bye-bye.